If you're willing to listen to one more tale, I'd like to share this with you tonight. And it goes something like this. At the far end of town, where the bristle grass grows, and the wind smells slow and sour when it blows, and no birds ever sing except the old crows, is the street of the lifted laurel. And deep in the grickle grass, some people say, if you look deep enough, you can still see today where the Lorax once stood, just as long as it could, before somebody lifted the Lorax away. Now, what was the Lorax, and why was it there? And why was it lifted and taken somewhere from the far end of town where the grickle grass grows? The old Onceler still lives there. Ask him. He knows. Now, you won't see the Onceler. Don't knock at his door. He lives in his lurkum on top of his store. He lurks in his lurkum cold under the roof, where he makes his own clothes out of mist-muffled moose. And on special dank midnights in August, he peeks out of the shutters, and sometimes he speaks and tells how the Lorax was lifted away. He'll tell you, perhaps, if you're willing to pay. At the end of a rope, he lets down a tin pail, and you have to put in 15 cents into nail in the shell of a great-great-grandfather snail. Then he pulls up the pail and takes a most careful count to see that you paid him the proper amount. Then he hides what you paid him away in his snub, his secret strange hole in his groovulous glove. And he grunts, I will call you by whisper-phone, for the secrets I tell are for your ears alone. Down slips the whisper-phone to your ear, and the old Onceler's whispers are not very clear. Since he has to speak down through a snargly hose, he sounds as if he had smallish beads up his nose. Now I'll tell you, he says with his teeth sounding gray, how the Lorax was lifted and taken away. It all started way back. Such a long, long time back. Back in the days when the grass was still green and the ponds were still wet and the clouds were still clean and the song of the swami swans rang out in space. One morning I came to this glorious place and I first saw the trees, the truffula trees, the bright-colored tufts of the truffula trees, mile after mile in the fresh morning breeze. And under the trees I saw brown barbaloots frisking about in their barbaloot suits as they played in the shade and ate truffula fruits. From the rippulous pond came the comfortable sound of the humming fish humming while splashing around. But those truffula trees. All my life I'd been searching for trees such as these. The touch of their tufts was much softer than silk, and they had the sweet smell of fresh butterfly milk. I had a great leaping of joy in my heart. I knew just what to do. I unloaded my cart. And in no time at all, I built a small shop, and I chopped down a truffula tree with one chop. Then, with great skillful skill, and with great speedy speed, I took the soft tuft, and I knitted a sneeze. The instant I finished, I heard a gazump. I looked and saw something pop out of the stump of the tree I'd cut down. It was sort of a man. Describe him, that's hard. I don't know if I can. He was shortish and oldish and brownish and mossy and spoke with a voice that was sharpish and bossy. Mister, he said with a sawdusty sneeze, I am the Lorax. I speak for the trees. I speak for the trees have no tongues. And I'm asking you, sir, at the top of my lungs. He was very upset as he shouted and puffed. What's that thing you made out of my truffula dust? Look, Lorax, I said, there's no cause for alarm. I've chopped just one tree. I'm doing no harm. I'm being quite useful. This thing's a sneeze, and a sneeze defines something that all people need. It's a shirt, it's a sock, it's a glove, it's a hat, but it has other uses, yes, far beyond that. You can use it for carpets, or pillows, or sheets, or curtains, or covers for bicycle seats. The Lorax said, sir, you are crazy with greed. There's no one on earth who would buy that fool sneeze. But the very next minute, I proved he was wrong, for just at that moment, a chap came along, and he thought the sneeze I had knitted was great, and he happily bought it for $3.98. I laughed at the Lorax. You poor stupid guy. You never can tell what some people will buy. I repeat, cried the Lorax, I speak for the trees. I'm busy, I told him. Shut up, if you please. I rushed across the room, and in no time at all, built a radio phone. I put in a quick call. I called all my brothers and uncles and aunts and said, listen here, there's a wonderful chance for the whole Onceler family to get mighty rich. Get over here fast, take the road to North Main, turn left at Weehawken Sharp, right at South. Then in no time at all, in the factory I built, the whole Onceler family was working full tilt. We were all knitting sneeze just as busy as bees to the sound of the chopping of truffula trees. Then, oh baby, oh how my business did grow. Now chopping one tree at a time was too slow. So I quickly invented a super axe hacker that whacked down 4 truffula trees with one smacker. We were knitting sneeze 4 times as fast as before, and that Lorax, he didn't show up anymore. But the next week, he knocked on my new office door. And he snapped, I'm the Lorax who speaks for the trees, which you seem to be chopping as fast as you please, but I'm also in charge of the brown barbaloots, who played in the shade in their barbaloot suits and happily lived eating truffula fruits. Now, thanks to your hacking my trees to the ground, there's not enough truffula fruit to go around. And my poor barbaloots are all getting the crummies because they have gas and no food in their tummies. They loved living here, but I can't let them stay. They'll have to find food, and I hope that they leave. Good luck, boys, he cried, and he sent them away. I, the Onceler, felt sad as I watched them all go, but business is business, and business must grow, regardless of crummies and tummies, you know. I meant no harm. I most truly did not, but I had to get bigger, so bigger I got. I biggered my factories, biggered my roads, biggered my wagons, and biggered the loads of the Thneeds I shipped out. I was shipping them forth to the south, to the east, to the west, to the north. We went right on biggering, selling more Thneeds, and I biggered my money, which everyone needs. Then again he came back. I was fixing some pipes when that old nuisance Lorax came back and more gripes. I'm the Lorax, he cut me quick. He paced, he scuffled, he snarled, he sniffed. Onceler, he said with a crupulous croak. Onceler, you're making such slogulous smoke. My poor Swami swans, why, they can't sing a note. No one can sing through a smog in his throat. And so, said the Lorax, please pardon my cough. They cannot live here, so I'm sending them off. Where will they go? I don't hopefully know. They may have to fly for a month or a year to escape from the smog you smogged up around here. And what's more, said the Lorax, his dander was up, let me say a few words about Gluppity-Glup. Your machinery chugs on day and night without stop, making gluppity-glup and schloppity-schlop. And what do you do with this leftover goo? Well, I'll show you, you dirty old Onceler man, You're clumping the pond where the humming fish hum. No more can they hum, for their gills are all gummed. So I'm sending them off. Oh, their future is dreary. They'll walk on their fins and get woefully weary in search of some water that isn't so smeary. And then I got mad. I got really mad. And I yelled at the Lorax, hey, listen here, Dad. All you do is say yap, 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 and bad, bad, bad. Well, I have my right, sir, and I'm telling you, I intend to keep doing just what I do. And for your information, you Lorax, I'm figuring on biggering and biggering and biggering and biggering, turning more and more truculent trees into Thneeds, which everyone needs. And at that very moment, I heard a loud whack from out in the field. The sickening smell of an axe on a tree. Then I heard the tree fall. The very last truffula tree of them all. No more trees, no more Thneeds, no more work to be done. So in no time, my uncles and aunts, everyone, all waved me goodbye, hopped into my cars, and drove away under the smoke-smothered stars. And all that was left beneath the bad-smelling sky was my big empty factory, the Lorax and I. The Lorax said nothing, just gave me a glance. Just gave me a very sad, backwards glance as he lifted himself by the seat of his pants. And I'll never forget the grim look on his face as he hoisted himself and took leave of this place through a hole in the smog without leaving a tree. And all that the Lorax left here in this mess was a small pile of rocks with the one word, unless. Whatever that meant, well, I just couldn't guess. That was long, long ago. But each day since that day, I've sat here and worried away. Through the years, while my buildings have fallen apart, I've worried about it with all of my heart. But now, says the Onceler, now that you're here, the word of the Lorax seems perfectly clear. Unless someone like you hears a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not. So catch, calls the Onceler, and he lets something fall. It's a truffula. It's the last one of them all. You're in charge of the last of the truffula seeds. And truffula trees are what everyone needs. Plant a new truffula. Treat it with care. Give it clean water and feed it fresh air. Grow a forest. Protect it from axes that hack. Then the Lorax and all of his friends may